Good morning and welcome to your first introduction to I need to set up my gradebook. So I know a lot of you guys have already gotten it set up and you're trying to make sure that everything is correct. I've had numerous teachers that have emailed me saying, hey, can you check my gradebook? And I haven't gotten around to them yet because I just haven't. I'm trying. We'll get there. Hopefully this video will answer all of your questions and you're going to have everything that you need set up and ready to go to transfer grades from Google Classroom directly into Infinite Campus, which currently is still working. Who knows how long? Use it as long as we have it, but let's get started. First and foremost, you're going to pick one of your classes to make sure your gradebook is set up and click on Settings. Once you've clicked on Settings, the majority of our work is right here under Grade Calc Options. Now, mine I completely reset just to show you once again from the beginning, which starts with this button for fill options. I need to pay attention to what period this class is. This is the dreaded first, second, fifth, or sixth period class that has cumulative grading and some special things we need to make sure are correct. So when I click fill options, whether it's first, second, fifth, sixth, or it's third, fourth, it really doesn't matter. It begins the same way in that we want an in progress grade. We want the grading scale to be this DCPS standard, and we need to check this box for weight categories. We're going to talk a little bit about that in just a second to make sure that our grade books not only function, but that they make sense, okay? And weight categories is a big part of that. At this point, it does not matter what period of the day this class is. Don't check that cumulative grading yet, because we want to be specific about where and how cumulative grading is set up. So with those just few options, those three things, in progress grade, DCPS standard, and check the box for weight categories, click OK. That populated everything through here. But now we're going to get specific. This is a first, second, fifth, or sixth period class. Specifically, this is both my fifth and sixth period class. But when I look at the term grades, that's where I'm looking here under the standard grading task. This is what's important. My term grade needs to accumulate everything from first 9 weeks into the second 9 weeks, which will eventually be 80% of this half credit that will post a transcript. Because this is a cumulative class, first, second, fifth, or sixth, we'll check the cumulative grading starting in. Now, if this is the first 9 weeks, obviously we're starting in the first 9 weeks with our cumulative grading. This final grade is perfectly fine. Leave it alone. We're going to go to exam and we're going to make sure that it's left alone and go to second 9 weeks, term grade. And this is where we need to make sure that cumulative grading is checked once again. But when did this grade start? It started in the first 9 weeks. So I'm going to choose first 9 weeks for my second term grade. That way, everything from first 9 weeks is counted with everything in the second 9 weeks to make one 18-week term grade. That's my 80% category we'll see in this final grade that happens in the second 9 weeks. Now, it should be pretty much locked down, but you should double check it. Does that say 80% for term grade? If it doesn't, send me an email. Let me know which period of the day that it's not working correctly for, and I'll double check it and we'll get it fixed. The 20% is the exam. Now, first, second, fifth, and sixth, you have to give an exam. I don't care if you call it a midterm exam, a final exam, a cumulative exam. You have to give an exam that will count as 20% of their half credit grade. So that is, again, should be all set for you. You just have to verify it's all correct. Well, this class for me is all year long. While I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and look into third 9 weeks. And the third 9 weeks term grade should have a cumulative grade. But this is now the second semester, the second half credit class that is going to happen for this particular course. That cumulative grading does not start in first 9 weeks. It does not start in second 9 weeks. It's a brand new half credit. There's a complete split from first semester to second semester. So third 9 weeks term grade starts cumulative grading in third 9 weeks. Again, if you have a final grade here, leave it alone. Exam, leave it alone. fourth term grade is the second half of the second semester. Its cumulative grading starts in third 9 weeks. So that way, all of third 9 weeks and all of fourth 9 weeks all get calculated together again for the thing we're double checking here, 80% for the fourth 9 weeks term grade, 20% for, again, whatever you're calling that exam, 20% of the half credit going to transcript will be calculated at the end of the school year, and that will have my entire grade calculation set up. So we click save and everything starts to look a little better. Next, we're going to double check our categories. So we were talking about the weight categories option. Currently, I only use 2 categories in any of my classes. I'll have a classwork category, the daily work that we're doing, projects we're doing in class, and an assessments category. And for my content, which is pretty project-based programming, I do a 60-40 split, 60% from classwork and 40% from assessments. And if that's how that works, then when I click on classwork, I need to make sure that every class I'm using classwork in, that I'm using these weighted category splits, is set correctly. So for example, here's a programming class that I teach. 60% of my classwork goes to that half credit transcript term grade, right? This is the term grade specifically. I get to break down how my grade book decides how things go together. This way I never have to worry about, well, let's see, I gave 30 points for this quiz, and I gave 50 points for that quiz, and I gave 10 points to that homework assignment. It all will balance out because I have decided which categories everything go in. And again, for me, classwork in most of my classes is set for 60% of their project-based grade. And I can check every box for every course I teach that I use that in, and I can set the weight all the way through for how I want that to be used. As far as assessment goes, my other category, I only have assessments in these classes, and so therefore they have 40% to match that 60%. So if you have your own categories and each department has whatever categories they want to use, ideally each content within a department will use the exact same splits. Even better if it's department-wide, if that's possible, then we'll use the same categories weighted the same way. That way it doesn't matter how you point value each of your assignments, as long as within each category there's that similarity where one assignment may be worth 10 and we don't have another assignment worth 100 points unless you actually intend it to be 10 times the value as the other assignment. So that's what our categories are supposed to be set for, okay? That gets categories all set up. Now, if I'm going to add an assignment, because I have categories, then when I go to create an assignment and choose the category it belongs to, this is how I'm weighting the assignment I'm about to put in. So if this is a test classwork assignment, then I can put that in here, give it an appropriate abbreviation, choose my start date, my end date, and I don't really even have to do this in Infinite Campus. Some of y'all love to do this in Google Classroom, but if you do it here, you need to know this is how it's supposed to go. How many points does it have? Where did it go? All that fun stuff. We can save this here, okay? So we can still manually do it this way because some of us are going to have to at some point when the transfer from Google Classroom to Infinite Campus decides not to work anymore. You need to know how to do it this way, okay? Again, this is my 5th and 6th period class. It's my Principles of Engineering class. I can see that that's in here. I put in a category assignment of classwork. Now, what if I go to Google Classroom? Let's go to my Google Classroom and go find my Principles of Engineering class, which is right here, and get into classwork so we can see what's going on in this class. So we've been talking about several things throughout this 9 weeks already. I've given an assignment of practice problems here. 12 of them have been turned in. I need to get on the 3 students who didn't, and I'm going to grade this work. Well, once I've graded the work and I can put in just some random grades, we're going to give this student 18 points and this one 17, and that one did a really good job. He gets 20 out of 20. They're going to love me for giving them random grades. I'll clean that up later today. But here's the magic button. Export to SIS, SIS. This is an option that gives me the ability to link my class to a particular Infinite Campus class. And this is the export that currently is still working and can be used to your benefit. So SIS integration is here. If I choose to link it, I have to pick the class. Now, for me, I've got too many classes. It's ridiculous. These are all my classes for this 9 weeks. I need to know which one of these am I supposed to be picking. And some of you all have similar issues because you teach the same content. Maybe you have 4 sections of Algebra 1. How do you know this is the right Algebra 1 class? Well, let's take a look in Infinite Campus and get real specific. I'm going to zoom in specifically on this section right here. Ha ha, pun intended. 9350 PLW 125 is the specific course code for my class that I'm trying to get grades into. That -3 right there is the section number that applies to this gradebook I'm trying to attach my Google Classroom to. So 9350 PLW 125 section 3. I'm looking. There's 295. That's the wrong one. 9350. Oh, way up here. 93. Nope, that's 295. Oh, gosh, they're all over the place. You've got to be specific. 9350 PLW 125. There's the section 3. I know I've chosen the same one that was in Infinite Campus. Link that bad boy, and we're ready to start exporting grades where I don't have to create them here in Google Classroom and also in Infinite Campus, which once again could be our future. Okay, so I've got it linked. Now I'm ready to go back to the gradebook and export. And here I have all of my options of what I could export. The things I still need to grade, the things the students are still working on, or the ones that show there are grade updates. I don't know why that disappeared. The grade updates. I have these 3 grade updates that I'm going to export to SIS, at which point it says exporting. You can leave this page. Well, that's fun. Let's go over here and see if anything happened. Right now, this is the static version I was looking at a little while ago. If I reload the page, I want to see where is it? And it's still not showing. But that's because of this. Uncategorized assignments. You probably have run into this a time or two and you're wanting to know, how do I not have to deal with this every time? Well, this is a setting that we can choose to work with in here where the non-campus assignment defaults have not been configured. If I configure my non-campus assignment defaults so that the default category is whichever you choose, for me, I more often have classwork than assessments. And the standard grading task for all of us will always be term grade, because that's the stuff that we're putting from Google Classroom into our Infinite Campus. So if I hit save, any future export is going to go in the right place. Well, what about this? If I click this button, I have all 3 of these things that it picked up and wanted to know what should I do with them. If I check all of these and choose again term and whatever my default category is, I can fill them all selected with those things, save all, and it will say my 3 assignments have been aligned. They all show up right here, including the grades that were exported and now show up. In the future, any new assignment that I make, create assignment. This is a new test assignment number 2. It has a due date of yesterday. Again, my students are going to love me for this. It is worth 10 points, and I'm going to assign that to my students. So it's out there. It was due yesterday. We're going to go see the student work and give Noah Basham a 5. He's going to love me for that. We'll return that and clean it up later. It's done. It's ready to export to SIS. It says exporting grades. You can leave this page while finishing the export. And we're going to come over here again, refresh, and see if it's there. And sure enough, test assignment number 2 showed up here. No more uncategorized assignments. It's auto-populated here as an assignment with grades. It automatically can be edited later, but it shows the start date and end date of when you put it in Google Classroom. It shows when you put it in there and when you decided the deadline for it was. So it's here. And if I need to modify the due date, I'd have to go back to Google Classroom to do that, because some of these details are imported from there and we can't change them in Infinite Campus. I can always change the abbreviation because it was auto-generated. If I need to change the category, I can, but we set it to default to classwork. And the number of points possible, we set that in Google Classroom. To change it, it would have to happen in Google Classroom. So all of that's great. I'm going to go ahead and delete that so they don't have to worry about it being there. My deletion was successful. It's gone. I can come back to Google Classroom and say, hey, I really didn't need this, so let's go ahead and delete that while we're there. And then again, I'll clean up the other stuff later. So one last thing. What if it's a third or fourth period class? Well, let me pick one of my fourth period classes at random. No, I don't only have just this many students. I have multiple fourth period classes, and these kids actually are here sometimes fourth period, fifth period, sixth period. It's a lot of fun. What's different? What's different here is I'm still going to do grade calc options. I forgot to clear it out, so I'll do that now. Which, by the way, if you have mistakes and you just want to start over, you can just do it with clean fill options and just reset everything. That might be the easiest way. You're not sure if it's set up correctly. You watch this video, you're ready to do it on your own. You just start fresh. I want an in progress grade. I want the DCPS standard. I'm still going to weight the categories, but since this is third or fourth period, I'm done. I don't do anything with cumulative grading. Third and fourth period classes get a half a credit each 9 weeks. There is no accumulation. So if it's third period or fourth period specifically, once you're done with your fill options and save, you're automatically done. There's nothing else to do other than double checking your categories. And again, if you're going to be importing from Google Classroom, checking that you have classwork and term grade as your default categories and grading task. And this one's set to go. Okay, so that's all there is to getting it set up. Remember to always, as you have your in progress grades, be sure to hit post and OK and OK and save. If you don't see it here, it isn't finished. You have to see the updated grade in your posted column. If your in progress is ever a different grade from your posted grade, you probably need to hit post again to transfer the updates over. As always, if you guys have questions, feel free to email. I will eventually get back to those of you that have emailed me. Call me, stop by during one of your periods. Before or after school, I'm here at 6:45 in the morning. I stay till 5. I'm available, right? So if you need anything else, let me know, and happy Froggy Friday.